We're supposed to finish this HPLM, but it was not working. So yeah, so we'll cover this today. Okay, today and tomorrow is the last class. Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss a little bit on TFS. Okay, this is a Team Foundation Server, and that's also a test management tool. Okay, so we'll just have an idea, but it's more good for Kanban process. Okay, so remember we were talking a lot about the Scrum, extreme programming. Okay, all these are part of the Agile, and Kanban is also part of this Agile. It's also process, but not so famous as Scrum. Scrum is more famous because of a lot of meetings and a lot of working on process. Kanban is simple. If you know Scrum, I mean the extreme programming and all those will be similar. Not saying it will be similar. Okay, to the process, the way they work, will be similar process. Okay, so now today we'll just go to here pretty quick here. If you need access for HPLM, you have to request to Tagore. Okay, I don't have access for HPLM, but I hope you guys got access for Rally, Jira. You can practice that. You can. Any homework is pending. Okay. Yeah, not many people have submitted that. Only one, I think. One guy actually submitted certification. So we'll talk about this tomorrow. Okay. See, the problem is keep changing. So that's the reason it's very hard to give access to people. Okay, so you have to be very careful. Okay, if you are misusing it, okay, they might, it will be very serious. Okay, it will be very serious if you are misusing anything here. Okay, so here it's okay. I'm not worried about it. How are you using it? Okay. Okay, is it good now? Can you able to hear now? So I'm actually changed to network, but still let me see here. Problem is okay. So this is it's not working. LAN is but I have some issues with the line, I guess. So yeah, this is the only thing actually is working now. Okay. So yeah, can you able to hear it now? Is it good now? Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So here's the thing. So I'm not really worried about what you're doing here. No, but remember, if you guys are messing up with the user story, it's not a very good idea. Okay. So you don't want to do that. Okay. I guess you have seen this, right? So we have completed. Okay. So that's good. So you know what? Let's see here. So this is also similar HPALM. Okay, HPALM is Hewlett Packard Application Lifecycle Management. And you know what? Somebody asked me, okay, what was the version of this, right? Now, what version we are using it? Okay, so to see here, let's check. Okay, good. So we are using 12.5. Series 12.5. Okay, so this is how you have to figure it out which version you are using it. Okay, okay. So now let's see here. So this is similar, like Jira. I mean, this is classified. Let's see here. This is also classified kind of 3 sidebars. Okay, this is a left sidebar. which various you have various options you have to choose, and this is middle sidebar where once you choose into this, this will show accordingly here, and this contains more detailed information about projects or what project if you these are actually kind of projects. These are the projects, and these are these are actually various options like test cases, you want to prepare test cases, execute your test cases, defects, all these modules, right? All these modules is actually here, and the more detailed level module, that means it's a project, it will be here, and the description of the project will be. So it's kind of divided into 3 sidebars, okay? Okay, so here, we'll go through here first thing. So here there's 4 important things you have to remember. So not everything, you will not have access to everything. Remember this, you are a tester, not a developer, not Scrum Master, not a, of course, obviously not a boss at this time. Okay, you have to, so you will not have all this access at this everything. So the only access you'll be having is requirements module. Okay, that's the first thing, and it is only used for viewing the requirements. That's it. You'll be having read access, not write access. You cannot delete the requirements. Okay, you cannot delete the requirement. You cannot do with that. So you'll be only having read access with this. The next, in some places you don't even have delete, right? Even if you want to delete your own test cases, you cannot do that. Okay, so you have to be very careful. So you have to see, in some companies they follow some procedure. They don't want to because too many people delete others' work is not good. So that's what they do, is you cannot delete your work too. Okay, you don't have access simply. Okay, so here is the thing. So this test plan, test lab. Okay, these are the 2 things you'll be working on. The test plan is where you will be creating your test cases. Okay. Test lab is where you're executing your test cases. Okay. And then one more module, you'll be having defects. In the defects module, you'll be opening defects. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 modules. Okay. 4 different modules, that is requirements, test plan, test lab, and defects. Okay. These are the major modules you'll be having access. Of course, there is a management. Of course, you're not, if you're management, so you'll be having access to this and not all this. Okay. Again, if you're, dashboard, of course, dashboard, you'll be having access just to view what's going on and what's happening. Okay. But you may not even have that access. Okay. So it's some places. And if you're a performance tester, you might have this performance module. And if you're a developer, you'll be having this developer module. Okay, this is what's the build, what the code changes, and all those things. Okay, and if you are in any other environments, you're working in any other environments or any other, there's another team who is working on. In that case, you'll be having this. Other than that, this is the 4 major modules you'll be having access. Okay, so let's go pretty quick here. The requirements module. So this is the requirements module, and remember, requirements is only to view. For a tester, it's just to see what is it all about. Okay, it's nothing to do with it, nothing to edit anything. You are not the one who has to edit. You're not the one who has to delete it. Okay. So you cannot do all those things. You only have to view it. There's some information there. You have to see and understand what is it all about. Okay, so here's say here. Okay, let's say you have this requirement, and once I click on this, so that means this is a project which I'm working on, and this is the detailed information about this project. Okay, now this is the let's say this is the requirement that is in Agile we call it user story. Okay, the same thing. So here is, you have a lot of options. You have nothing to do with this. You have to only just view it, right? So you will not have any access like this. You see this, it will be disabled. You cannot create anything. You will not even have this new requirements. This will be all disabled. Okay, and if you see this, okay, you can view this, who is the author and who created it and what is this all about. You can look here and see what is your work here involved here. That means as a tester, what you are going to do. So here it's a simple, it's only just a simple URL, like you have to test this. Okay, it might be pretty long paragraph. Okay, you may not understand that at once. You have to go through multiple times. Okay, and see, and find out what is required to start your test cases. Okay, that's what you have to do. Not always application will be ready-made. Here, since we have ready-made application, you are lucky. Not always you will be lucky in that. Okay, so don't take it as granted that no application is ready. I'll write test case from the application. That's not going to happen every time. Okay, so don't take that application will be ready and I'll start writing based on application. No, most of the time you have to write based on the requirement, what is given, and what's the document. So the reason I have this application, because you guys don't know, right? So what is a test case, what is the application, and all those things, right? So that's the reason. I made you to we have ready-made application, start writing test cases. So that's what it was easy. We started with easy, but it's really not that easy. Okay, you have to look into it, requirements, see that what you have to do, start writing your test cases. Or I've given you access to, most of guys have access to Google Drive, right? Look into it, look the documents, what is FRD, what is BRD, and start writing test cases. Okay, so based on that. And if you're a retail guy, you have to look into mapping document and see what you have to come up with, what scenarios you have to come up with for ETL validations. Okay. Okay, so this is the requirement. So once we viewed it, so there's the options here. It's not really required for you, but we can go through it and see what's okay. You can look at it. So sometimes what happened, right? Sometimes the requirement is created based on defect. Okay, requirement, because sometimes what happens when you create a defect, the developer will say no, we don't have time for this, but it has to be, it has to be moved into different release, and they say no, this is not going to happen. This will become complete new requirement because this is nothing to do with us, and this has become a completely different. So in that case, they will put that link that defect to this requirement. That's the reason they are linking here. Okay, that means because of that defect, this requirement was created. Okay, that's the use of this. Okay, development activity. It's not required. And test coverage. Okay, so we'll see here test coverage. So this is what we call as RTM. Remember RTM, requirement traceability matrix. What's RTM? It's all the test cases should at least match one requirement. It's called RTM. Okay, all the test cases should at least match one requirement. So we'll see this, how we can do. We go through that, and so this is pretty much about this requirements. So you just need to look here what is to do and how are you going to write your test cases based on this requirements. That's what your job will be. Okay. Any questions so far on the requirements? So just to view what the information they have provided here. If there is no information, you have to, sometimes you have to figure it out in the documents of what is FRD, or see this, if there is an attachment here, then sometimes if you're lucky, they'll put some attachment and see, download that attachment, see what the requirement is all about. If not, then you have to look to SharePoint, go to SharePoint and see what's the document. Once you've done all that, then you have to start writing test cases. And no, even if you're not able to find all this, then you have to approach with the lead. Now you can say to the lead, you know what, I'm just looking into this requirement, but you know what, I was not able to get this, and I looked at SharePoint, there is no documents, FRD document or any sort of, and I was also looking to this attachment, there is nothing, so how can I get some idea on this? Okay. So when you have done all your research, then only you have to approach the lead. Okay, so that you have to remember that. Okay, so let's see here. So let's go to the next one. Test plan. Okay, so this test plan is a module. This is not a test plan document. Like you've seen this document. Test plan document is completely different with test plan. Here in this HPLM, test plan is a module, not a document. You have to remember that. Although they call you here test plan, it's a module. Okay, that means you have to, see what is there here. So here, see this, there will be plenty of projects going on, a lot of projects here. And the only problem is you have to figure it out, the project here. You can use this filter, see this filter helps you, and if you know the number, you can use this. Otherwise, this is really a little bit tedious here to find out which project it is. Okay, so see here. Luckily, this is organized based on alphabets. Okay, so this is my project. So this is how you have to find out, right? So sometimes you might find a project, but thing is you have to create your own directory. You have to create directory because you cannot escape that because in that project so many people are working. Right? There might be 3 testers or 4 testers. Okay. And there might be developers too. So they are writing their own work here. You are writing your own work. So what you want to do is you will get confused, right? Too many things. In that case, you want to create a new folder, saying that this is what, so that will make your life easier because you will know where did you store your test cases, right? That's how you have to do. So here, what I'm going to do is, let's create a folder here. Okay. Now once, okay, if you see this diagram, you want to refresh it, refresh here, this is the refresh option. Okay, good. So now we have created just a folder. We have done nothing, we have just created a folder. Okay, this folder is required if you are working, because so many people are working, too many things, you don't know where to store your test cases, you want to create folder because if you're not creating folder, you will get confused where to put your test cases. Okay, so that's how it is. Now what you will do is, what you have to do is you have to create framework here. Okay, so this is important. We are not, this is a little bit different, HPLM. Okay, you are actually creating script, test script. Let's see here, new test set. Actually, it's a set. So what you're trying to do here, you're actually only creating framework. Okay, so we just put it here. So we put the same name. Remember, HPLM is little bit convoluted process, okay, than any other tools. In that case, Jira is still way more better. Okay, Rally is the best if you want to use, but you have to still know it, right? You have to know it because if you get it, you have to work on this. Okay, so you have to fill up all this information here. So again, this filling up information is very important. If you are not filling up this information, then it will get to the wrong people, and it might get rejected, or it might just put some reviews. Okay, so it might get rejected if you're filling up wrong information. So make sure you guys fill up the right one. Okay, so if you have any description, read description. and click OK. Okay, good. So we have successfully created this framework. We have just because we have to write test cases, right? So to write a test cases, you need this kind of set. This is called test set. Okay. Now only you can write it here. So let's go to this. If you see this, these are different modules, right? You see this. This has some modules here. Okay, these are the various modules, and you can navigate one after that. So here, design steps. Here, what we are going to write our test cases. Okay, this is the place we are. We can view here parameters. So this parameters is not too much required for manual. Yes, if you are working on automation, you want to use this. As you know, parameterization is more important in automation. Okay, but other case, if you're working some typical project or something which is there, you have to use this parameters. Attachments, it's really not required to use this. Okay, don't bother because this attachment is completely different to this attachment. Okay, there are too many things. Don't worry about it. Just don't don't bother in test plan. This is not required. Test configurations, you can view this. Requirement coverage, we'll just talk about this moment. Link defects, don't worry about it. Again, this is really not required. This link defects is again completely different from this link defects. Okay, so just don't bother. We are not worrying about this plan, any of these things. Dependencies, business modeling, linkage, history, so all this you have here. Okay, so we'll start right test cases here. So since what, I'll just copy this test case. Copy. Paste. Okay, this is most of the time you will be doing this. You have to copy and edit this. Okay, since we have done for Chrome, you have to also do for the Firefox. So let's say here this is for Firefox. Okay, and you have to do for Safari. So all this you have. So every browser you want a different test set. Okay. So now once you have written this, again you have to follow this process. You have to come up with scenarios before writing test cases. No, you have to come scenarios, positive, negative, and boundary values. Okay, so you have to remember that, and obviously you have to always write your test case. Most of the time, write the test cases based on document, not by the application. So we did with application because I wanted to make you to understand that we are writing test cases, but really that's not the case. Okay, you most of the time you'll be looking at the document and writing the test case. You have to remember that. Okay. And once you have done that, see this. Okay, so we have successfully created this test case. So now we'll just go to here and see the required requirement coverage. So this is called RTM. So this is what we'll be doing RTM practically. So far we know RTM, right? Requirement traceability matrix, which all the test cases should at least match one requirement. So this is what we are doing here. So if you click here, this umbrella, so that means you are navigating here. This a sidebar shows up on the right side, and see here, and to see which. Okay, good. So this is what my requirement is, and I want to link this. It's kind of linking here. Okay. Now what I'll do is that I can drag and drop here, or I can use this option to add to my coverage. Okay. Now I don't require this, so I'll just delete this. Okay, good. So this is what we call RTM, requirement traceability matrix. That means you are actually linking your test cases to that particular requirement. Okay, so that the linking process is actually called as RTM. Now it can be more than one requirement, but actually the way it works actually you have to link different test cases for the different requirements. Okay, you cannot just simply link all the test cases to one requirement. Okay, because the definition goes all the test cases should match at least one requirement. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, So once you have done that, okay, so now if you see this requirement, right? If you go to requirement, you can see this that in requirement traceability. So that's what we have done that. Supposed to be here actually, but let's see here. Looks like it gets no. This is the text. Okay, so test coverage. Okay, good. Here test coverage. So this is what it gets. Linked here. Okay, hopefully here. Okay, good. Here you see this 20, right? 20. Okay, good. So this is what it gets linked. So this is called test coverage. Okay, that means what we did for RTM. This shows up here. Okay, you can view this. So that's how you can do, requirement traceability matrix. Okay, and then go to history. So history is, to see who is doing what. Your lead might checked out, your lead might checked in. So what's going on with this? All this history, you can view it here. Okay, so that's the thing. And any questions so far in test plan? So what is test plan is used for? Test plan is used only to write your test cases. That's it, nothing to do. You don't want to use this linked effect option, nor you want to use any attachments here, okay, because there's so many things, linked effects, you don't want to use it. We'll come to that, okay, why do you don't want to do it, so we'll come to that. You don't want to use any of this, nor you want to use any of this. These all things are different here. Okay, so now what we'll do here is we'll check in. Okay, we'll check in. That means this is checked out. Whatever you're trying to do is the reason of having this check in, check out is for version control, right? What changes did you make? What are the features you got added, new features, and what's all this information? Okay, so that's the reason you want check in and check out. So here, this is all checked out, so we'll check in. So I have to figure it out which test case. Okay, good. So this is my test case ID 1359, and I want to check in. Click on this and check in. If you have any comments, you can go ahead and write the comments and close. So like this, good. Now this is checked out. I'm sorry, this is checked in. Okay, this the lock icon. You see this? The lock icon is with open is gone. You don't see it. So that means it's checked in. Not all tools have this option of versioning. Only this tool has, typical way of versioning the system. Okay, versioning the test cases here. Not just versioning test cases. You might also have in the defects too. Okay. But in defects, you can see in the history. Okay, so all this. Okay, all these changes, what I try to do is document it in history. Who is here, this version 1, then you got the version 2. Okay, so all these things. Any questions? Any questions on test plan? So test plan is only used to create test cases. That's it. Okay. So let's move to the next one then. So it's pretty much similar. If you have understood Rally, if you understood Jira, right? This is pretty much similar. Okay. The similar process, but a different tool. Okay, so let's go to the test lab module. So what you do in the test lab module, you execute your test cases. Okay, now just not executing here is it's again a little bit convoluted process. Now this is all the projects here. Okay, so the problem is you want to do this redundant work here. Okay, the project you created doesn't exist here. you have to create one more directory and put all this information again. Okay, so that's the problem with HPALM. Okay, so they never thought about this to share that same test plan and test lab. Okay, they never thought that. So HPALM, Jira, and all are, it's not same testing, it's test management tools. Okay, so those are test management tool. Yes, those are all test management tools with a different company. Okay, HPLM is from HP, Rally is from CA Technologies, Jira is from Atlassian. This is a ClearQuest, then it will be from IBM. Okay, so these are all are different companies. Okay, so you don't want to confuse. No, we are using HPLM. We don't know Rally. We don't know Jira. So all these are similar tools. Okay, that's the point. Okay, similar tools. The process remains same. Okay, the process, what you're trying to do, that means creating test cases, executing test cases, defects, and that's it. That remains same. Okay, but the UI, if you see this UI is pretty, stiff UI, right? I mean, you have to wait, and this takes time. Rally, you have different UI. Jira, you have different UI. Okay, so that's the UI changes, but the process remains same. Okay, so here, let's see, there are so many projects here again. You want to see which one. Okay, good. So this is good. So now this is what my project is. So somebody created, or I have to create this project again. It doesn't exist. If it is exists, then no problem. You can use this. Now again, you want to create test set. Again, you have to create a new test set. And let's see here. So just make sure you're clicking this directory and using this. If you're using this one, then it will get created into subdirectory. Okay, you don't want to do that. Use this and click on to set. Okay, again you have to not use this. So I'm using this for the naming convention, because if I'm using very frequently, I have to follow this naming conventions. Okay, because you will forget which one is what, who is using this, because so many people will be using it. You'll get confused. So this naming convention will help you out. Okay, here are the options again. Default, is it functional, is it performance? We'll just go for default for now. And let's go to details, see here. This might cause some issues. Let's worry about this later. Flow change at today's date and change by week. Close date, we know this close date 19th, and created at environment. What kind of environment? So you have to fill up all this. Okay, you cannot escape. Who is responsible? So if you are creating this case for yourself, then you are responsible for yourself. Status open. So if you know the build, put the build number. Okay, good. Let's. Okay, so how many? So you can write this post condition, preconditions here. Or but we just put it here simple. And click on OK. Okay, good. So again, what we did is we just created a framework. That's it. We did nothing. We just created a Okay, good. Now once you have done that, we want to refresh it. Okay, so now this is come here. Now we have just created a framework, right? There's nothing here, but you already know you have written test cases, right? Where they go. So now you have to pull it from where? Test plan. Now here, what you want to do, so use the select test. That will, now what you're trying to do here is you're trying to navigate the test plan, what you have done so far, okay? And I mean, they would have, this was pretty complicated. They would have made this test plan and test lab shared so that everything what shows up will be here. But, so that's how they did. So that's how you have to, this is a little bit more, this is labor work, okay? You have to work on this one and use this and drag it here, okay? So now what we have done is we just pulled it from test plan into test lab. Okay, so once you have done that, okay, so normally this is supposed to show this information. What are the test cases? Okay, so this is the thing. So this here actually it shows us no result, but really it's not true. We have test cases, right? So it's supposed to show here test cases, okay, but it's not showing up, so let's not worry about it. So here, once you see this, there's options here, right? Name, type, what type is this? Status, there's a test case name and all this, okay? So you have all this. Now let's execute this test case. Okay, so let's execute it. Now how do you do this? Go ahead and click on run. So once you run it, click again and begin run. Okay, so here you see this various test cases, right? So what does it say? So you have to do this parallelly, okay? So you can do this parallelly, or if you're, if you know really, you can either first complete all your testing with the screenshots and all those things, or you can execute later, okay? Another way, however you feel comfortable. But to start with, you have to do this parallelly. Now it says like you have to open your Firefox browser and put this URL, okay? We'll just open here, Firefox. And once you do this, okay, so this is what you say. So home page of GMO is displayed. Okay, we'll just put here. Home page of GMO Online is displayed as per the requirement. Okay, and pass this. Okay, to pass it, just click on this pass selected step, and then what you say, click on enter GMO Online button. Okay, now online catalog page is displayed. It's displayed as per the requirement. And click on pass. So enter value 10 for 3% DOM 10. Okay. 10 on order. So page is directed to billing page. Okay. We have all this information. So we have done this, right? So just we are doing one more time for a different tool. Okay. So this is the same thing. Okay, got pass. And page is redirected. Let's say you found some issue here. Okay, some issue. Let's say the shipping and handling fee. So what you want to write it here is, actual is good, but found an issue like shipping and handling fee. Okay, so once you have done this, so fail this. Even if one test step is failed, whole test case is failed. That's what it means. Okay, so let's fail. Let's click on fail. So one step is failed, right? All this has been passed, but one step is failed. Now, if you see here, once you stop with end run and you see this, it's failed. Status is failed. Now this got updated. Good. Now it shows here information that this is test cases and this is what it is. Okay, so here now once it's failed, you have to rerun this again. Once the developer open a defect, and you have to rerun it again. Okay, and make sure you cannot change the status here just like this. Okay, you won't know this pass. Developer will not know. I just click on pass, and you know what? You'll be caught red-handedly here. If you see here the execution time, it's taking some time to execute your test case, right? When you do this, if you're putting here pass, everything will be in 1 second. So that you cannot execute your 20 test cases in 1 second, right? So you cannot change this status as you like. Only unless you lead specifies or you know what you're trying to do, okay, or you know this test case is no valid, so you're putting n by a or something else. Other than that, if you're telling that lead, yeah, I've completed this, and you want to change it, no, you can't do that. You have to rerun it, do that same process again, and update it, because all the information here shows up right here. So they will catch you red-handedly. Okay, so you cannot just change the status and tell your lead, now I've completed it. So that doesn't work that way. Okay, so you have to rerun it. If it's failed, now you have to open defect. Once defect is fixed, rerun it again. Same process. Click here, and run here. You have to go the same process. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. Now again, you don't want to use this attachment, okay? Really don't want to use it, okay? Or you don't want to use this link effect. If you want to use this attachment, use it right here. You use this one, yeah, mostly this one. So we'll see here which one. So mostly this is the one you have to use. Don't worry about these attachments. Don't worry about test plan attachments. Nothing to do with anything. Okay, because this will, if you are putting here, you'll get confused which test case did you put with which attachment. Because that's a problem. So if you are using any of these, use here this one. This will be more relevant. Does it make sense? So if you want to send an email, you can also send an email. Who is responsible tester, test reviewer? Let's say you want to send it to me. This doesn't work. This has to be, it has to be configured from admin point of view. And if you want to send it once it's configured, you can send it into the particular lead. Put CC. Who is the guy, and then send it. So yeah, it has to be configured from admin point of view. So it doesn't work. Okay. But sometimes it doesn't go. So what you want to do is you take a screenshot and send it. Okay. So that's how you can do. Any questions so far? Right. So we go to this. Yes, that's right. When the test case is failed, you have to open a defect. Okay. Okay, so again, when you're, okay, so this is the thing, see, here's the thing, I'm stressing more on coordination because I see that so many people are lacking communication skills. Okay, so that's what I'm too much stressing on, communication skills. You have to have this communication skills, otherwise it will be very difficult. Okay, here's the thing, when you found some issue, okay, let's say you are executing test case and found an issue, you have to coordinate. Okay, send an email to your lead saying that this is the issue, can I open defect, because I find this is a defect, because it's not properly navigating. And if I see the requirements, it's completely different than requirements. Can I open a defect for this? That's what you have to do. You cannot open defect just because you found a defect. Okay, you have to remember that. Just because you have found a defect doesn't mean it can be a defect. You have to talk to your lead, talk to a concerned person, talk to your team members. Okay, without that you can't do anything, because if you are doing this, your boss will call you, and again the same thing, right? The question will remain same. Who told you to open defect? Simple question. Your boss will ask you, who told you to open defect? So that's where your communication skills, you have to use your communication skills, otherwise it will be really hard. Okay, so any more questions? That is correct. If test lead doesn't approve, no, this is okay, this is not a defect, or you'll say some reason with that, right? It's not a defect, or you know what, this is already an issue, we have the defect open, no, don't worry about it, this is not going to production. Some reason. Once your defect says no, this is not defect, so obviously you cannot open defect. That's how it is. Does it make sense? If your lead doesn't approve, then it's no point moving forward. You can make understand to your lead saying that this is the thing. I can take your laptop and say that this is the defect, and you know what, this is what. Once if your lead understands, okay, so this is already there in production. We are not worried about it. Then this is a different story. Okay, but other than that, you're not going to do anything. Okay, so it's up to you. Okay, so this is somebody asked a question, right? If you found some issue, we can email or talk directly. Okay, so that's a very good question. It depends on the circumstances. So let's say if a lead is in work from home, or not available or something like that, then you have to send an email. That would be the first choice if your lead is not there. Let's say if your lead is there, and you want to, and it's good idea to talk about it, okay, face to face, rather than sending email. That would not be appropriate always. So of course, if your lead is available at office, you have to go and talk to him directly. Okay, but and if he's not available, you can send an email. Okay, that's how you have to do. But it's based on situation. Make sure you're using properly, appropriately. So most important thing, you're using it appropriately. Okay. Mostly I find convenient, if the lead is available, I find convenient to talk to him directly saying that this is the issue. Unless he says, oh, why don't you send me an email, just let me look into it. So in that case, you want to send it. Okay, that would be a better case. Any more questions? That's right. So somebody asked, right? So in ALM, first thing you have to write test cases in test plan. That's right. You have to write test cases in test plan. So that could be a question like how do you write test cases? You have to write test case in test plan, not in test lab. You're not going to do anything in test lab. You're only executing it, right? That's right. You have to, whenever you have to execute it, you have to get in test lab. You cannot execute in test plan, and you cannot write test cases in test lab. That's how they made it. Okay. This is this is really primitive way, but that's how it is. Okay. And they would have at least made it some shared option, shared directory, so that if you are navigating, you can view this whole thing as test plan, but they didn't do it. So that's how you have to follow this long process. Select test, pick the which test cases does your belong to. Can pull a bunch of test cases here, and here, and you can start executing it. That's how you have to do it.
What is cloud setting?
Cloud setting. Oh, here. Okay. So this is see, here's the thing. So if you want to put all the documents in the cloud, so cloud, see, the meaning of the cloud is actually, it's not like a cloud. It is a third-party server where you are actually storing all the information. Let's say you want to put all these test cases, I mean, not just test cases, just whole account, then you can go ahead and put in the cloud. Okay. The cloud means not cloud. Cloud means actually, third-party server where they're handling all your, documents like test cases and defects. Everything is stored in third-party server. Okay, but um, this is pretty advanced. If you have account in the cloud, only then you can use this. Does it make sense? Yeah, storage. Yeah, that's storage.
Okay. Oh, get it, get it.
Okay. So, what RTM? Okay, test. So RTM, you have to do it. Most of the time you will be doing it unless test lead. Okay, somebody asked a question, right? So RTM, do we have to do it, or lead will be doing it? So mostly we will be doing it QA. Lead will be only directing you. So this is what you have to do, because lead will have their own work, right? They not only lead will not just also execute their own test cases, but they also have their other work too. Okay, so all this you have to do, linking, creating all this. Lead will only review your test cases first time, okay, first or second time, third time, that's it. Rest you have to, once you get like 6 months, 7 months, you know what to do later. Okay, you have to review yourself, or check with the lead if his bandwidth is good, so he can work with you. Okay, otherwise lead will not do any of your work. You have to do all your work. Lead only will review your work. So somebody asked a question, right? If we get defects, then we have to update that in RTM. No, no. If you have defects, you have to update in test cases. So we'll go through this actually. Okay, let's go to defects module. So we have to update in test cases. We no more touch RTM anymore. Okay, this once. It's once. Once it gets failed, once it gets passed, automatically business analyst will know what you're trying to do. So it's for business analyst actually. It's more for a business analyst, so that business analyst is aware that you're writing test cases and the project is moving forward. Okay, that's what business analysts want to know, right? Is the project moving forward, because they cannot stop, right? They don't want to stop you. So that's the reason we want to link it. That's the reason we have RTM. Okay, but nothing to do with the defects and RTM. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing, defects module. Once you go to the defects module and you want to create defect. So there are plenty of ways to create defects. Okay. So many ways. Okay, so we don't know. Just that was an interview question actually. How many ways you can create defects? I was like, there are many ways to create defects. They said, okay, what are they? You can create a test plan, test lab, defects module, and running. There's so many things. So you don't want to get confused. You can create defects here in the defects module. You can create defects here, right? You know what? Here you go here. This is not appropriate. Don't worry about it. You can create defects by clicking here, and you know what? Linking this. This is appropriate, and you can create defects. Test plan. I don't know why you guys have put defects here. No reason to see. Okay, here too you can create defects. Okay, there's no reason to have this. Okay, test plan, you don't have to touch any defects here. Here also you can. So there are so many ways of creating defects. So let's not worry about all of things. There are two ways. One is to create here in this module, and one when you're running your test cases. Oh, we forgot about running the test cases, right? You can also, when you run here, you can create here too. See this? Okay. So there's so many ways. So only two ways. Okay. That is, one is creating from here, and the other is when you're running your test cases. That would be more appropriate. Okay. Rest of them, it's not required. Okay. So let's create here. So we just create the same thing. Shipping and handling fee, and we want to give some information here about the project. Okay, and who's assigned? So that means the owner of defect is developer, right? So just put the developer name, which browser. So you have to fill all this. So this one we don't know because some of them have to fill by the developer. Okay. In product area, if you know the product area, put the product area. Priority and severity. So we talked about this. Okay. It should be, it's based on the kind of defect, what kind of defect, and reproducible. If it's reproducible, put is yes. If it's not, then if it is no, then you have to really have some, meeting with the developer, or see that it's free. Then you have to take your laptop and show this that it is not reproducible, but it's happening like this. This is very, this is very important, right? Because so many times I used to get defect, and I took a good screenshot, and developer says it's working in my machine. I don't care about it, right? And I talked to my lead saying that, what, this is showing up. And I opened like 3 times, 3 times got rejected. Okay, so what happened is again that thing becomes big issue, and talk to the lead saying that now 3 to 4 people, my boss came here, what's going on? Why is this defect is coming up? And this developer is saying no. So I showed up, with my machine, and this is saying this is not reproducible. No, I cannot reproduce it, but this is happening. So this is the scenarios where it can happen. And at that time, developer was shocked. This is surprising because it's never happening in my system, but it's happening here. So it might be scenario in the production too, right? So in that case, you want to make sure, talk to the developer. Okay, is it reproducible? Not reproducible. If it is not reproducible, you have to take your system or share VMware or however it is applicable, and tell them that it's happening. Okay, that's how you have to make sure about that. And subject and status. Obviously, it has to be in open status, so you cannot open defects in open. So that's why you have to wait for that to open. And editing cycle. So if you know all this, you have to fill up. If you don't know, you have to check with the lead and make sure put this information. Detailed environment. Okay, so here. Okay, so we'll just use this. Take a screenshot. Always use the screenshot. Okay. Highlight the issue. What's exactly the issue is? I want to highlight this. And what to use only what is required. So here you have multiple ways. Here you can still upload here. Okay. So let's see how we can do this. Go to the insert image, and either you can take the screen snapshot here right itself, or you can use this upload image. This has an option to take snapshot, but not all tools have that. Only HPLM has this, and TFS too. TFS also has this option. And once you use this, it's pretty big. I can, make it small. Put 50. Okay, good. Now put it in add. So if you see here, this is shows in the description. So you want to put in the description. Not required. You can put in the attachment section. Here it gets automatically updated. But what I would like to always follow is in the description, so that whenever developer is seeing it, it's easy for him and me too. So I'll show him. Okay, you just navigate here. Okay, you don't have to download this and all those things. So that's the reason. Alright, and once you submit it, it's good, and that's it. So now again, you have to change this from new to open. You cannot work on new. Okay, let's see here. Some questions. Let's put some questions here with the subject. So here you have to GMO. Put GMO. And click OK. Okay, good. So we have successfully created a defect and put in the open status. So first time defect is new, and after test release reveals it's approved, then test is going to change to open or lead. Okay, so the first the defect will be in open status. Once it's that's a very good question. So here you have limited options, right? So obviously you have to put open status. You cannot change to, you cannot put it just new. See, here's the thing. It's your job, it's your responsibility to work on this. Okay, the lead is not taking care of this. Lead will be just reviewing your test case, that's it. So it should be open, and what you want to do is you can change it to review. Okay, review that and say that it's for review for the test case. Send an email. Okay, do that if you're not able to be here. Okay, that would be good. But it should be in open status. Once you put in open status, the email should go to the developer. That's how it should be. If it doesn't go, this is not working, no problem. You have your Outlook, open email, send an email. You can do that. Multiple ways of doing it. Okay, so you can do that. And tester is going to change. Actually, tester will be going to change everything. Lead is not going to do anything here. Your work, no lead. Your work, you have to do it. You have to change it new. You have to change it to fix. No, not fix, sorry. Fix is done by developer. Close or reopen, you have to do it. Okay. There can be many more options than this. Here you have limited option. It can be more than this. Okay. There also can be an option or review. If the admin wants, if you can send a request to admin, or if there's good, they'll also put in review. It will be also review here. Okay. There's no option here because admin didn't add that option. Admin, it's the admin work to handle this HPLM, right? HPLM administrator has to work on this. Okay. So that's how it is. Now we have created defect, but we have to link this defect, right? No. We didn't do anything here. We have to link. So my defect is 283. So what I'll do is go to test lab and click on this. Go to link defects. I want to link it. 283. Link it. Okay, good. Click OK. So if you link it, you see this chain icon shows up here. Okay, it's not showing because we didn't refresh it. Okay, good. You see this chain icon is showing here. Now that means it is linked. If you have attachment, this attachment icon will be showing up here. Click icon. Kind of this. Now if you go to this, here you see this chain icon. Okay. Now refresh it. Now you see this. Okay. Chain icon will be showing up here. That means now this defect is linked with your test cases. That means you will know. So this is linking is very important here. This is not done automatically like RARI. RARI does take care of it because whenever you're assigning the project, it automatically links with it. But here obviously it's not linking by itself. You have to do it manually. Okay. And if you have this linked entities, as you know, so sometimes you have multiple defects, or sometimes this thing happens, right? Because of one defect, another defect shows up, and because of that defect, you cannot fix this defect. Developer says, no, we cannot fix this defect unless that defect is fixed, or there's a duplicate defects, or you know what? Yeah, there's 2 to 3 scenarios where developer reject your defect, says that this is already open, or this is linked with this. That means if that defect gets fixed, this gets automatically fixed. So in that case, you want to link it, right? Link your existing defects which other team has created or somebody has created. Link it so you know once that gets fixed, you know your defects also get fixed. So that's the reason for having this linked entities. When can, so somebody asked, right, when can you reopen the defect? Defect is reopened, say let's say fixed. Developer changes to fixed, right? Now if you see this, no, it's not fixed, you have to reopen it. So that's the option for reopening. Now that will be a, you cannot do that. Okay. The reason is you have to really have a proper communication with the developer saying that why are you reopening? If you are reopening that will be issue. Okay. It goes to developer manager and saying that why are you doing too much work? What's happening? So if you are reopening it, make sure you are coordinating with developers. See, here's the thing. Communication is always plays a major role. If you are not communicating and reopening just like this, that will be a big issue because your dev manager will looking into it and why it's reopened when it is fixed, and this guy, that guy talks to your boss and your boss calls you. Okay, so that's how it works. So you have to make sure that if you are reopening it, better coordinate with them. Without coordinating, you don't want to do this. All these things are very important. You have to make sure properly coordinating before you're doing this. Okay, so this is development activity for developer. If developer did something and defects get updated, developer will be using this. Okay. So this is about HPLM. Any questions so far? Oh, and actually you also have these reports. These reports are limited again. Again, the same thing applies, so we have this project level reports and team level reports. It's a similar process. You can go to analysis, go to project, and you can go ahead and click on this, and this gets generated the report gets generated for you. Okay, and once it's done, so this is a defect, right? So all the defects we're documenting is, oops. Just remove this. Okay, so this is how you can generate report. So this is actually generating report for whole defects. Okay. So that's why it is taking too much time and too many entities here. Okay, good. So normally it will not be that long, but if it is too many effects or too many things, then of course it will take some time. Okay. So that's about HPLM. Any questions so far? It's not supposed to open in dark. Much dark. Right. So this is the report. There are so many. That's why it took too much time. See, there's a lot of Zoom open only for defects, so that's the reason. A lot of things. So okay, close this. Okay, so that's about HPLM. Okay, so you can just have an idea on this. Don't go too much on this because yeah, of course, you might use this. I'm not saying you will not use it in project, but the point is, you have to keep learning new tools, okay? Because things might get updated. Let's say you in this project. Let's say you go into project and using this HPLM. Let's say you want to go to the next project, and let's say they're not using any HPLM. They don't know anything about HP. They have to use a different tool, right? So in that case, because it's not always necessary that you will get every project you'll be getting as HPLM. It's not really required. But it's just only for your understanding that if you use more than one tool, you will be in better position. Right? That's the point actually. So okay. If no questions, can we close this class for today? So tomorrow is our last class, so we'll talk about this certifications. Okay. And people who didn't complete and was trying to complete, you will see here how you can do. Okay, so okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.